Good day, everyone. Today, I am going to discuss a new topic, and that is on freedom as foundation for moral acts. We are going to discuss what freedom is, explain why only human beings can be ethical or moral, and students must be able to narrate a personal experience to demonstrate the exercise of one's freedom. Humans, as moral beings, are free to act or not to act. Their will equipped them with the power to determine their actions. It is in this light that humans differ from other creatures and beings. Hence, in this lesson, we shall establish the foundation of moral actions, and that is freedom, without which we cannot talk about morality or ethics. So, what is freedom? Maybe we can offer a lot of answers. But today, we say that freedom is the dependence of the will on the self, or I, or the same to act or not to act. So here, we can see the word will. So we have to understand that word will. What does it mean? Will means the desire or the willingness. So this desire or willingness is dependent on the self or the I. So this willingness or desire is independent from others' influence, coercion, or command. It is solely dependent on the self or the I. With that, we can say that we are free, or humans are free, or there is freedom. Take away the dependence of the will or on the self or onto the I, then there will be no freedom at all. So we shall understand this by having the well, by having this dialogue, by understanding this dialogue. I adapted this from the lecture of Father Aquino. The dialogue says, I enrolled in the course Bachelor of Science in Criminology. Question: whose decision was that? Who enrolled you? The answer is my decision. I enrolled myself. Or I asked someone else to enroll me. So you have to notice that it is I. It is the I. It's I who enrolled. It is the I who made the decision. That it was I who made it is what makes the act self-dependent and in that measure free. So the I exercised his freedom because it is the I who decided to enroll and not any other person. So here we start to understand that freedom is not really doing anything that I please or that I want to, or just choosing between possibilities. It is primarily the dependence of my actions on me. This is the most fundamental sense of responsibility. So we can say that I am responsible with the consequence of my actions because it is I who made the decision. I willed it. Nobody did for me. So, when one exercises his or her freedom, what will be the consequence? When the I exercises his or her freedom, she becomes responsible with his or her actions. So again, the consequence of exercising one's freedom is you become responsible or accountable with the consequence of your actions. It is the fact that in my freedom, my actions are dependent on me, that I can be held to account for them. If these dependents were absent, there would be no point in blaming a person from blameworthy actions or to praise him for praiseworthy actions. It makes sense. Hindi mo pupurihin yung tao kung hindi naman siya malaya nung ginawa niya yung ginawa niya. At hindi mo rin pwedeng sisihin yung tao kung hindi rin niya ginusto yung kanyang ginawa. So, wala nang pinupuri, wala nang sinisisi kapag walang kalayaan yung tao. So, we are primarily responsible of our actions because when we did those actions, we did it out of our freedom. Now, why humans or why only humans can be ethical? Bakit yung mga ibang nilalang, yung mga ibang hayop, why aren't they ethical or moral? Bakit hindi sila pwedeng maging moral or ethical? Only human beings have the capacity to determine their actions because of their freedom, which is absent to other beings. That self-determination is coupled with responsibility, hence morality is born. Without self-determination or freedom, no responsibility, and there will be no ethics or morality to talk about. So it's very clear. Only humans have that so-called self-determination because of their freedom. And this self-determination is absent to other beings like the animals, the dogs, cats, carabaos, cows, and so on. They have no self-determination because they do not have freedom to do so. Let's take, for example, a robot. A robot is a mechanical thing or object which acts not according to what it wills, but to the commands programmed with it. It has no will on its own. It cannot determine its actions. Thus, it is not responsible to whatever it does. Therefore, we can say that robots cannot become moral or ethical beings. For example, Robot A is stationed to guard the house. So, whoever comes in late at night will be shot to death. The owner comes late at night drunk, and Robot A shot him, which resulted into his death. Is robot responsible for its action? Obviously no. Sinunod lang niya yung nakaprogram sa kanya. Kahit sino, kapag gabing-gabi na at papasok sa bahay na yan, ay papatayin mo. Hindi naman niya ginusto. Yun ang program na dapat niyang gawin. Its action is not dependent on its will because the robot has no will on its own. It is dependent on whatever commands program with it. So, hindi naman siya guard na tao na pwede mong kasuhan and so on. So, robots cannot become moral beings because they don't have the freedom. They don't have that self-determination. It is the same case with brute animals or other non-rational animals. No matter how we regard other animals as nearly as humans because of their intelligence, like dogs, monkeys, even cats, they do not will their actions or behavior. They act or behave based on instinct. So they do not do things because it's their will. No, it is because it's what their instinct tell them so. And when we say instinct, this is the inherent disposition of a living organism toward particular behavior. Thus, they are not responsible of their actions or behavior. To demonstrate, let's have this example. Mga aso. Kapag naiihi ang aso kahit saan, iihi yan. Pag umihi sa loob ng bahay nyo, sasabihin natin, hayop ka talaga. Kung saan-saan ka umiihi. O naman talaga, hayop naman talaga siya. Kasi, instinct yung nasa kanya. Call of nature, ika nga. Kapag naiihi siya, kahit saan, iihi talaga siya. Unlike a human being na pwede niyang kontrolin. Na kahit naiihi na siya sa loob ng sasakyan, hindi siya pwedeng iihi na lang doon. Kaya pag ang tao nakita na umihi sa pader at ipinagbabawal doon, anong sasabihin natin? Para kang aso kung saan-saan ka umiihi. O, di ba? Kasi ang tao, they have the freedom. So, that person who urinated dun sa pader ninyo, he willed to urinate there. Hindi naman siya pinilit. Nandun yung call of nature tulad sa mga brute animals na naiihi ka na, naiihi na siya. Pero meron pa rin yung control sa atin kasi self-governance. Determination. You can determine your actions because you're free. Another one is yung mating. It's not meeting, it's mating. For humans, they may have this sexual urge as animals. Lahat naman meron yan kasi we are sexual beings. However, unlike brute animals, pwede nilang pigilan. Hindi yung kung gusto na ay pwede lang. Sige lang. Otherwise, hindi na makontrol ang ating populasyon. Pag gusto, sige lang. Of course not. Kung gusto, sige lang kung saan-saan. Unlike brute animals, dogs, if it is their time for mating, if they feel the urge to mate, gagawin nila kahit saan. Whenever they want it because of their urge. Kasi parang nakaprogram din sa kanilang behavior, sa kanilang katawan. They do it. So, animals are governed by their instinct. Hence, they cannot be responsible with their actions. Kaya, kung mabilis manganak ang iyong aso, kasi every after na manganak ay gusto niya or nagkikipag-mate siya kaya nabubuntis, hindi mo siya masasabihan na mag-family planning kasi wala siyang kalayaan doon. Whenever its body feels that it wants to mate, then maghahanap siya ng kamate niya. I hope that is clear. So, other beings, aside from humans, cannot be ethical or moral primarily because they have no self-determination as we do. So, dagdag, sabi ni John Paul Sartre, man is condemned to be free. Anong ibig niyang sabihin doon? Freedom is part of human nature. So that every man cannot not be free. You have no choice actually but to be free. You have no choice as a person but to exercise your freedom. So it means, if you cannot choose otherwise to be free, you cannot choose also not to be responsible. And since you are responsible, you are subject to morality. You are subjected to morality. Hence, you are a moral being. So we can see here that freedom is self-governance. It is through freedom that humans are able to govern themselves. This is expressed by the I will. So you will the things you do. You will your actions. That is an expression that you are governing yourself. Hindi ka pinipilit, hindi ka nakaprogram. You are not forced to govern yourself. That is freedom. So, huwag nating kalimutan, the exercise of freedom is always paired or coupled with responsibility or accountability. So again, only humans can be ethical or moral due to self-determination, through freedom. Hence, they are responsible and accountable with their actions. Unlike the other creatures or animals or beings, they have no self-determination or freedom to exercise. Hence, they cannot be responsible or accountable with what they do. So they cannot be subjected to morality or ethics. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.